All right, welcome to today's episode of the Australian Lawn and Garden Podcast. This is a very interesting and controversial podcast because we are talking about chemicals, specifically those sprayed on food and lawns and other things as well, because we have business owner or co-owner of Colin Campbell Chemicals, Nadeem. We've had him on the podcast in the past, but we didn't really talk about this subject. And he was in Perth, and it's been something else on my mind. And I thought, do you know, who else better to interview but somebody who is in the game to see what do chemical company people, especially the business owner, feel about spraying chemicals on food, and what do they feel about pesticide resistance, and what do they feel about organic versus synthetic, because they supply both. What food do they eat? Do they eat food sprayed with chemicals? All that kind of stuff. That's what we're getting into this podcast. And Nadeem was a great sport. It was a very cordial conversation. It helps that we both like Formula One and we talk about that sort of stuff. And anyway, if you think that you know what these answers are going to be because you have an idea of what a chemical company business owner would say about AI and all that sort of stuff, robots, blah, blah, blah. We covered a lot of stuff. If you think you know the answers, I would suggest perhaps you don't, because this is a fascinating podcast. Now, before we get into that, a few other things. One, really great news. The live event in Perth with Tim and Lawnmower Man, we booked out the small room in like a week and a half. Maybe not even a week and a half. But basically, this venue that we had, big room, small room, and originally I had the small room because it was cheaper. Not that it was cheap, but it was cheaper. And I've decided on, in retrospect, this is a terrible business model because we give away free tickets. And the more tickets we book, the more money it costs me. But it's all for the people. It's all for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a bunch of brands coming. And because I've now booked out the bigger room, I'm even more excited to have more people come. It should be a lot of fun. Lots of brands. Obviously, Tim and Lawnmower Man is the guest, but Felco and AEG, Cress, Ego, Greenworks, Seawise, The Lawn Shed. There's a bunch of brands coming. If you want to hear more about it, there's a link in the description. And also, obviously, we have the course. We've been getting some great feedback on that as well. It is a course designed for people if you're wanting to start your own small business, a lawn care business, or if you have started your business and you're great at gardening, but you need a bit of help on the business side. This is made for you. I give 47 lessons from my own life experience, which, to be honest, involves a lot of failure, a lot of bad decisions, and you can learn from my stupid, dumb mistakes and not go down those paths, which I would gladly see you not follow those paths, and some successes along the way as well. So, people, I'm going to get shut off this intro, and we'll get into what is a very enjoyable walk around the park. All right, welcome to today's episode of the Australian Lawn and Garden Podcast. New style. Look at us, we're walking.
Yes.
Nadeem's been on. How are you, Nadeem?
Not bad, Luke. Yourself?
Shake hands as if we haven't been hanging out for the last hour. Nadeem, you are co-owner, Colin Campbell Chemicals.
Yes, correct.
You've been on the podcast before.
Yep, we're one of the early ones.
One of the early ones. And you are what some would deem as a dirty, rotten chemical salesman. And I wanted to have you on because I love having lots of different opinions and lots of different people on the podcast who have different thoughts on things, different mindsets on things. And I would love to hear just different perspectives on the industry and hear from your mind where you think about the effect of chemicals on the environment. Because to some degree, and that, I guess everybody agrees that chemicals are at some point going to be bad.
Yep.
Overuse, maybe you think if fine chemical overuse is bad, right? Certain things you might put down, maybe they're not so bad. But there's some people whose their argument is essentially, we shouldn't even touch this stuff at all. And then there's some people who are just incredibly careless. And I think a lot of people put labels on people. And anyway, I just want to chat about this.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're in WA.
Yes, I am.
Why are you over here right now?
I'm over here for work. Well, this is pleasure, this part of the podcast. And get to meet Luke finally in person. It's like we've been chatting to each other online or messenger for a long time. Just over here visiting a couple of my distributors and, talking about, funnily enough, chemicals today to some turf managers.
Yep. And you guys, for a bit more context, you supply turf guys, golf courses, things like that with products. But
Yep.
mainly you're telling me it's horticulture, right?
Horticulture, yeah. So when we talk horticulture, we're talking about fruit and vegetable crops.
Yep.
So citrus is a big part of our range, and we're not talking, when it's like we're Colin Campbell Chemicals, but it's actually quite interesting. We don't have, not all our products are all chemicals.
Right.
So we do a lot of fruit coatings for packing sheds. We do servicing for machinery and application methods, but we also do work in grapes, in viticulture, apples, stone fruit, cherries, mangoes, pineapples, all the grapefruit and veggies, cucumbers, tomatoes. So we have a range of products that we do supply for those industries. We're a small player in a big world.
Yeah, and well, that's the other thing I should say. It's like you're not a Bayer
No.
or a Syngenta.
Oh, nowhere near that.
So what would the size of your company be just in say, obviously these are international companies and you're Australian, but even just, if you just compare it to the Australian market, for example, just as some context on...
So we're probably one of the biggest Australian turf chemical companies in Australia, because there aren't any really.
True.
Unfortunately, a lot of them have been sold, or if they are in Australia, they're not owned by their parents, are not Australian owned, they're out somewhere else. So we're not big on the scheme of things. It's like going, if some of the people listening to and they're going into like their ag stores in a Nutrient or Elders store around the place, or a CRT store, you probably won't see our products on the shelf all the time. You might see one or two products here and there, but it really depends on the area where you're at that they would know our products. Yeah, we don't sell everything to everyone, and here we are in Western Australia, wheat belt, the broadacre capital of Australia, the herbicide resistance capital of the world, not just Australia. We don't do really much in broadacre side. It's all that horticulture.
Herbicide resistant capital of the world.
Yeah, pretty much one of them. Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's close to it. There's a lot of resistance. We can get into that argument, but it's not the overuse of a certain chemical, the overuse of a certain mode of action of chemical. It's like, again, like the medical side, antibiotics. You hear about the antibiotic resistance and the likes like that. Same things happens with chemicals.
Right.
So it's using that same, not the same chemical, but the same mode of action of the chemical on that same disease or weed, for this instance, and it builds up a resistance to it, so it becomes inactive.
So have we got more of that here?
We do, yeah. It's huge.
What specific weeds? Because I know fleabane's been an issue for a while.
Fleabane, ryegrass is number one. Ryegrass is the number one resistant weed worldwide. Wild radish is there, and our good friend wintergrass is in the top 5.
I would have gone with wintergrass, but I guess that's my turf.
And it
minded.
is. And it is. I talk to a lot of, some of you may know, I know a lot of university professors, weed scientists from the US and the likes, and even in Australia, going, the amount of resistance there is for wintergrass, for different chemicals, is ridiculous how much there is.
So are we talking about this in terms of like farming or like...
wintergrass turf?
No, I'm talking, so you got fleabane, ryegrass, wintergrass. Are these are not just problems in turf. These really, we're talking the bigger problem in farming, right?
Bigger problem in farming, yeah. Wintergrass is specific for turf.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the other weeds are specific for a lot of different crops, whether it's wheat crop, cotton, canola, anything like that, depending on that crop side. If you ever want to listen more about that, Weed Smart podcast, I'll drop them a line.
There you go. So with them, if you're talking about, are these resistant against selective sprays, glyphosate, just about everything?
Yeah.
Are we running out of options?
We are running out of options because there's not a lot of new options. And there is like some weeds have resistance to one mode of action, others have resistance to 5-6 types of different herbicide groups, mode of actions.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part there. But the thing is with the resistance, it's like it doesn't happen everywhere on, say, a farm.
Yeah.
You'll get it maybe on one paddock. You won't see it across everything everywhere straight away. So that's the thing, you've got to manage it. That's what it comes down to. You've got to learn how to best manage it and how to minimize it. That's what we've got to really look at, is managing it, because there isn't anything really big, new and coming. And anything that is, unfortunately, just gets used way too much. Give you an example, I remember the university professors in the US when Spectacle turf product
Yeah.
came on the market in the
Now,
US.
is that the pre-emergent
That's a
one?
pre-emergent, very good.
Very expensive.
Not that much anymore. It's still expensive, but it's not as bad as it sort of.
Well, I remember it being expensive for a bottle, maybe the application
Yeah,
rate's
the
not so
application
bad.
rate is not bad, but the bottle's expensive. But the university professors were a bit worried because, like, going, well, they got resistance to barricade, and with that dimension, they got resistance to pendimethalin, they got resistance to everything else. So then, this is the only product that worked, and the part is going. That's the only thing they're going to use now, and they're going to overuse it and use it too much. Because there's nothing else to use. Right. You're not going to overuse as in like going more than they should be using it in a season, but because there's nothing else to rotate it with, the resistance will come in a lot quicker.
And so then, okay, so there's so many different things we're touching on.
Yes.
Here, right? So we're touching on resistance. And I want to think from your perspective then, do you ever stop and go, maybe we shouldn't even be going down a chemical route? And the reason I'm saying that is it's a natural byproduct of using chemicals that at some point you're going to get a resistance.
Yep.
And then you have to keep inventing new chemicals. And I've seen, you'll be well more aware than me, all these little robots they're making now.
Yep.
That are either setting them on fire, cutting them back,
Yep.
zapping them with something,
Yep.
or targeted, say, what's the word I'm looking for? Broad spectrum herbicides for cereal crops or something like that.
Yep.
We don't need to use GMO. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, 100% behind it. I can tell a little bit about what we've been doing with the turf side, and then I'll bring it back sort of to that broad acre side in general. But to go back originally what you were talking about, going whether chemicals are the answer to everything, like put it on, it's like, well, it all depends on your situation, what it is. So say, with your farming crops, it's like going, you have weed pressure, you need to use chemical. You need to do everything to prevent all those issues, because once you start to get the weed issues, are going to outcompete the crop, and you're not going to have a crop. And this is the livelihood of farmers. This is the livelihood of feeding Australia and exporting.
Yeah.
So we do need to use chemical there. Yes, there are different cultural practices that people do, and definitely 100% do them. Now going to with all the robotics, the automation, all of that, we've been working with the guys at John Deere, specifically Hutchison and Pearce in New South Wales, which some of you guys may know, with drone mapping power wintergrass on sports fields,
right?
And sports grounds and golf courses. So we're only in early stages, but the aim is to do what you were saying with robot sees a weed and it sprays it. So like they call it see and spray in the John Deere side. So it sees a weed and it kills it. Difference in turf, it's like it's green on green, so it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So you have NDVI technology that we get the drone to map a field, and then that gets put into an AI system that can pick up what's power, what's cooch, or what's power, and what is everything else, and what weeds. So then what happens is like going, rather than go, okay, we've got a 2 hectare oval, you're not going to spray 2 hectares. You could probably, depending on the population there at that time, it could go down to 1/4 of a hectare. Good example is a course on the Murray River was looking at Kaikiu control
golf course,
on his cooch fairways. He's got 40 odd hectares worth of cooch fairways with Kaikiu in there. Once they've drone mapped it, 5 hectares. So rather than go 40 hectares worth of chemical spraying, they've just reduced that dramatically down to 5 hectares.
This is one of the things it's reminding me of, and this will be a little bit of a divergent topic, but in Europe, there's been a lot of controversy about, and Canada actually, about farmers being asked to reduce, or in some cases forced to reduce inputs. Specifically, it's actually fertiliser. And one of the things that's really interesting is because they've had these massive protests, Paris, been all over the news, and the Netherlands, all that sort of stuff. The last couple of years it's been going on. I remember listening to a farmer, and he was talking about that there is already a massive financial incentive for farmers to use as little herbicide as possible, not from an environmental perspective, just financial. And then most farmers, they actually do like the environment and stuff. I can't talk on behalf of everybody, but it's kind of, I sense that in what you're saying as well, that maybe the conversation, this is why I like having these conversations, we often talk past each other. And I'm going to have some people on in the future who are a lot more, I do like having conversations with everybody, especially those who have different views to me, because no one talks like that. And just the AI stuff is fascinating, so I want you to get back onto that. But just part of what I'm hearing is it's not like oh, we're entrenched in our ways. I can't be stuff changing. Because if someone comes to you and goes, hey, 40 acres or hectares, if you can spray 5, is that what you said the change was?
Yeah.
What's that? That's just over 10%, 12%?
Yeah.
12% less? I mean, you might be paying something for the drones.
Yep.
Or the
you pay for the mapping and everything like that. But then it allows you to use different chemistries to get rid of the kikuyu that he wants to.
Yep.
But you get the choice of going, well, I don't have to use this more nasty one.
Mm-hmm.
I can use something that's probably a bit more expensive, but I know it's a lot safer. There's not as much restrictions on there.
Yep.
You don't have the buffer zones that you do with other ones, especially if you've got waterways close to you and the likes like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening a lot now with chemicals. They have buffer zones on where you can use it. Like, do not spray within 20 metres with a waterway.
We happen to be, if we can see on the other side, I don't know if you can see through these trees, right next to a wetland. And which is ironic because we just met up a shop that was close to where you were working today. But okay, so fascinating AI stuff's coming on board.
Yep.
And I was kind of touching on before. A lot of people are saying, well, let's just stop using chemicals at all. Is there a future where we can get to drones that are zapping the plants, or that are burning the plants, or that are cutting them off or pulling them out? Or
well, there is at the moment there is a bit of that going on. So there are regulations with spraying, and that sort of doesn't allow for aerial application of a lot of products. But what I can see happening in the future, and it's sort of done already.
That's so. Yeah. Just pause you there. What you're talking about there is planes.
Yep.
A lot of people, they would know that planes do drop chemicals. So. But drones then fit into that aerial application. Yep. Even though it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, the Australian regulations and that, they haven't decided exactly how that drone technology is going to work. It'll get sorted out. And one of the things is like going.
I might just switch sides with you there. So it's a bunch of children playing in a playground. And prefer not to video them.
One of the things is like going, oh, why don't we just do what Europe's doing? Why don't we do with they've done this. Why can't we do it in Australia? Well, it's very, very different. Europe's very different. They are very stringent with their regulations there. Australia is very stringent with our regulations, but we don't tend to be ad hoc and go, okay, let's just, wait a minute, this group said this, so we'll do it, let's change.
Yeah.
No, we take our time to decide. I know there's a lot of criticism with that. One of the things, like I mentioned, is bromoxynil.
Yes.
Going to a Schedule 7. As we're recording this, it was going to happen on the 1st of June. Now it's happening in the 1st of February. So they have extended it out.
So more time.
Yeah, so more time. And
I'll pause you on there too, because bromoxynil, not everybody will know what that is.
Yes.
A lot of people will. But bromoxynil is one of the active ingredients in a very popular herbicide called bin dye. Many others as well.
Yes.
But if you go to Bunnings and you buy, I would say 90% of anything that says Buffalo Safe, maybe 100% from Bunnings, of anything that says Buffalo Safe, it has bromoxynil in it. And it's a very old chemical.
Yes, it is, yeah.
One of the kind of original ones back in the 50s or 40s or 60s or something like that. And they've just gone, no, it's more dangerous than we thought.
No, it's not actually more dangerous. What it was, I can't remember specifically, but what I will say, they found that people were using it not from a chemical application point of view, but for health side of things, using it for the completely wrong thing. So changing the
like their food? Like what were they using it for?
Meant to be sort of, unfortunately, assisting in, let's say it's like, we're assisting in sort of, suicides and that. In fact, I don't want to say too much.
Really?
That's what it sort of was. I
was joking about
that. No. So I don't want to go too much just in case someone's going, oh no, you're completely wrong. But there is that
lot
concern.
More going on.
Yeah, so there is that concern there. So changing the scheduling to a schedule from a Schedule 6 from it says poison on the label to dangerous poison. Now brings a whole lot of classes in who can actually access anything. Right. This goes to the DSMA side of things. Like, we've seen on some of the lawn pages going, you cannot use anything DSMA based in lawns. You can use obviously the crab and grass killer. There is that because of the concentration, but anything that says dangerous poison. So the bromoxynil side going, the only products that'll be around will be like the weed and feed products. That's the only thing that'll be left.
Oh, okay.
So because you're allowed, it's the 15 gram per litre products will be still okay. But generally when you're talking concentrates, the minimum is usually 200 grams per litre. So it's going to, your bin dyes and all of them will be gone, but I think your weed and feeds, type thing will still be there. I haven't looked at those labels for a while, but if it's 15 grams or less, it's still okay. But anything higher will be banned and will be restricted. Because when it comes to Schedule 7, I just say to people going, you are meant to have a spray license to buy the product and to use the product.
Yep.
And they're meant to be recorded as well, any Schedule 7 products. Luckily, we've only got 2 left in our range, and they get very specific uses, that's it.
Okay, so that's fascinating. So basically, people are using it for non-turf related things, to put it lightly, and that has affected how they're scheduling it. So essentially, they're making it harder for the public to get.
Yes,
so it doesn't get
harder to
misused.
access.
And so I'm a licensed spray technician.
Yep.
I can go buy it.
Yep, you can still go buy it, no problem.
But we've always had an ethos that we don't want to use the Schedule 7.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, legally, if you're not allowed to use it in certain scenarios, but there might be scenarios where we're allowed to use it, and you just go, I just don't want to. I don't want to be, because is the most dangerous classification.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I just don't want to be mucking around with, even if I'm full suiting and everything. Like, what's the benefit? I'd prefer to use something maybe more expensive, or maybe something that needs multiple applications, and just deal with those consequences that come from.
No, and you're right, and you're not the only one. It's like we come up with a lot of against our products. I know, there are councils that don't want to use Schedule 7. If they do, they'll get a contractor in to do it at certain times.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of schools won't look at anything above a Schedule 5. They all want, Schedule 5 or below. They won't if it is end up being used. If they do need to use something like that, they'll usually go during school holidays when no kids are around and get a certified contractor in to do it. So there is a lot of that already going on, and 100%, no one wants to use the Schedule 7. So that'll just change. And there are alternatives, which is good. It's just going to make them come to the forefront a bit more in terms of that. But it's a great active, the bromoxynil. It does do good on weeds, but it won't be. So you'll see a change in that coming.
I used to use it a lot more than, that bin dye type of chemical. Because there's a bunch of, for those who don't know, there's so many of them that have exactly the same mixture. I mean, you would know. Do a lot of them just come out of the same place and they rebrand it? Or?
Some, there's probably about half a dozen different places, 4 or 5 different places in Australia where they're made, but a lot of them are done by the same. However, even though it might be done by the same manufacturer, like the same place, the formulation is unique to that manufacturer. So even though, say, we get something made up, say we've got a Bendite and this is our formulation, Luke Smith Chemicals has one too, but this is your formulation, so it is different in that respect. So that's where
okay, so it's not like apples and apples.
No,
it's like maybe a lady.
Yeah, like the different pink lady versus a jazz apple or a garlic.
Like
like there are times where it is the same. Like probably a best example. Because bin dye. Probably guess right. It's bow and arrow. Bow and arrow you can get in commercial sizes.
And it's the same as stadium. The same active ingredients in bow and arrow and stadium.
Yep, and stadium and spearhead. Which spearhead is the original. Was the first one that came out on the market from Bayer.
Turf control.
Turf control. Yeah, that's another one. So and some of those do get made up in the same places. I know 3 brands get made up in the one factory, but it's slightly different formulations. So but they are essentially the same.
Right. So, okay. You're getting, the bromoxynil stuff, we might have used it in comparison to that a little bit more because there were some benefits to it. So do you feel like, as a chemical guy, that you go, well, it's a bit frustrating. I don't know if you sell much bromoxynil.
No, we've got it in our stature herbicide and we're going to discontinue it. We made the decision because of that Schedule 7. It's like going, it's a great herbicide, but we're going to discontinue it. Being a Schedule 7, it's going to be hard to sell. But I will let your viewers know that we're actually getting 2 of our herbicides back. Methotricombi and Sports Ground herbicides. So anyone who's a lot older will remember them. Anyone who's new, by the way, we're getting some new products.
Idea.
No, we're getting some new products.
Just let this person pass. Hey. Okay, so what I was going to get at is does that frustrate you, or do you just go, no, it's just part of the job?
It's one of those things. It can be frustrating, but look, it's
because Tasha's quite new.
It is new. Yeah.
So you put all this effort in to get a chemical out. Yeah. You have under the guise that you thought that this is going to be available.
Yeah, and it's going to be long term. Yeah.
And then something that isn't, I guess, what you would say the turf industry's fault.
No, that's it. It's beyond our control. So. And it's like this. It's like, unfortunately, regulations do happen like that. It happened with A couple of other, we had organophosphates, like a chlorpyrifos, not chlorpyrifos, but another active in apples and that was used. It's been gone for about nearly probably about 10 years now. However, it was, it was going to be banned and everything like that, but we said, it's like going, yep, great, happy for it to ban, but can we have a bit longer than what what the regulation, what the authorities are saying to, we can't do it in 12 months. We need about 24 to 36 months. Because some of the time it's like we've got already getting manufactured product planned, or there's already product there, and people are relying on it. They need an alternative, but you can't just go, we've got these alternatives, this is what you can use. You've got to, and the alternatives weren't as broad spectrum. The great thing, like the old chlorpyrifos was, it killed everything. It was great at that. So you need something, you need to then look at going, well, what do I have available? How can I input all that? Is there anything, a straight swap for chlorpyrifos? A lot of the time there wasn't. So you needed to go, well, okay, what can we use when, and specifically use different products. So now in the apple industry, it's like where they used to use 3 or 4 insecticides, now using about 10 different insecticides, all different times about when they're using them for specific insect issues that they do get. But the products that are being used are a lot safer and a lot less toxic, a lot less harmful to the environment.
And different modes of action.
So
you're not getting, some people might go, 3 sounds better than 10.
Yeah.
But if you're using 3 that are all similar modes of action, it's the same thing with the antibiotics we're getting back to.
Yep.
Some resistance is being built up,
Yep.
and that resistance causes
Yep.
more and more problems.
More and more problems, yeah. It's like going less and less crops there, so won't be able to feed as well.
So, okay, the next thing I'm thinking about here is, if I'm going to play devil's advocate to this, because you're saying, okay, we got 10, different ones, different mode of actions. The song, they pave paradise.
Put on the parking lot, yes.
Farmer, put away the DDT.
Yeah.
I don't care about spots on my apples.
Yeah, leave me the birds and bees.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And some people will just go, why do we even care? Because, the argument that I hear as a turfie, right? And, I'm sympathetic for grass to just going, hey, look, we're not, when people are like, we shouldn't be using chemicals on grass, I'm like, well, it's grass.
Yeah.
Food, I get more cautious.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like that, where they go, okay, they understand grass, whatever, just stay off it for a couple of days. We're fine, or a few hours till it's dry, whatever. Food, people get nervous. And a lot of what you're doing is the food industry. Yep. Is it, how much of the chemical use, if we're being really honest, is dealing with spots on our apples that we really don't actually care about? Supermarket standards, that kind of stuff. And how much of the chemical usage is, no, this is 100% needed, otherwise this certain thing is going to wipe out this crop.
Yeah. And that's what it is. A lot of the issues are, they will wipe out crops. So and the other thing, it's not just that crop, it'll be increase the pressure for the season after. So it might end up being they lose 20% of their crop, 30% of their crop. And it's like going, then with the prices, the way growers are getting, they can't afford to lose 20, 30%. It's like, oh geez, they still got all this, it's still 70% of the crop going, they should be able to make money. No, the costs are too high in the supermarket and they're not getting enough return for their investment. So,
do you know what the profit margin on a farm, an orchard would be?
I don't know, no, I'm not qualified to say, unfortunately, all of that. But yeah, it is very low. It is very low.
Well, because the thing that goes through my mind is just say you're making a 10% profit margin, but then you lose 20% of your crop.
Yep.
In essence, you'd be making a 10% loss. It wouldn't be that simple, mathematically.
There was a good story on Four Corners a few months ago. That talked in regards to that. So if anyone wants to look that up, I know the grower that was on, a couple of the growers there, they're based in Orange and New South Wales, and they talk about that side. So have a look at that. I'll say to the viewers and the listeners that.
So what about organic then? We just sat down.
Yeah, we found a bench.
So organic.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of people maybe get an image of organic because organic doesn't mean no spraying at all.
No, and it doesn't mean it's safe. Like it's 100% safe either. Like there's inputs you use in organic that aren't as safe as some of the chemicals and the likes like that. Coffee's more harmful to you than a lot of chemicals you spray.
So when I talk about organic, when I use the word organic, right, the technical thing is it's not a mineral. Organic versus a mineral. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you play 21 questions. Yep. Is it organic or mineral? Or whatever. But the thing that I'm getting is organic is, like, people have said this before, cyanide is naturally occurring in apple seeds.
Yep.
Very small amounts, but it's technically would be something that's organic.
Yep.
So there's, in other words, obviously a lot of, you could go and get a bloody snake out of this wetland or something like that and be like, look, the venom coming out of that wasn't made in the lab.
No, that's it. That's organic. But yeah, when it comes to production, it's organic production, and there's approved organic inputs, which are deemed organic, derived from an organic source, and like that. And it's like, one of the lawn thing is like going, but we talk about acceloprin. It's like going, it's not organic. It's safe. It's a lot safer. I won't say it's safe because it's a lot safer than other insecticides that are available. You still have to take precautions. You're still putting out a chemical, but it's one of the less toxic, less harmful product there is. But it's not organic. That's the thing. There is organic insecticides for armyworm control. Bacillus. There is. We've got it in our Bacchus problem, or dipel is one that's commonly used.
Okay, so where are they coming from? So I'll just, before I get into that, I'll try and sort this this thought. Just because something says organic on it, you're still spraying it with something. That something has just come from maybe a natural origin, rather than a lab.
Yes, rather than a synthetic source of it.
And some of the organic stuff might be really safe.
Yep.
And some of the organic stuff that still classifies as organic may actually be have the same level of toxicity, or greater or less or close to, I don't know specifically. But I'm just getting to the point that specifically using organic product on food or buying organic doesn't mean it hasn't been sprayed, and doesn't mean that it's as it came in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, it's been sprayed, and it's been sprayed with an organic certified input. And those, you can see usually the main one for Australia, the Australian Certified Organic Organisation, which you can get classification on certain chemicals. Like we've got our copper fungicide. We're going through the process of getting it certified organic. Copper is natural and can be used in organic production, up to a certain amount. That's the thing. You get, I can't remember exactly how much it is, but you can use copper and sulfur, which are both natural.
So what are your honest thoughts on, because you sell both?
Yep.
Organic, what would you call it, inorganic, or?
No, organic and synthetic, or organic, or conventional.
Conventional. So you're selling both. So you're kind of, I don't know if, because people, they're just going to say, you sell chemicals, you're biased, right? But you also sell to both sides, because it's essentially what you're saying before about the loss in crops, is that it's not financially viable, or maybe even possible to run a farm at scale without some sort of chemical input.
Yep. There is organic farms and everything like that. And some of them, it's like going that if, like, for instance, I'll talk about the apple industry. It's like going, there are organic apples you can buy out there. And a lot of organic farmers can work, because the thing is going, there's no one near them. It's only them in the farm. So one of the things is like when you get like a heap of different farms near each other, the pest pressure, insect pressure, disease pressure just skyrockets. And you trying to do organic farming makes it difficult there. Give an example. We were in a product, a mating disruption product. For
mating disruption?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Is that like being a Star Trek fan?
No, this is pretty much where you
Socks
and
and Crocs, mating disruption products.
well, it's like this. It's like going, the males and females never meet. So it's actually probably not too bad. Some of the females listening, if you don't want your husband's near you.
The mention.
It's a pheromone, so it actually stops the males and females from mating with each other. So,
right, okay.
So then they don't have the offspring, and they don't cause the grubs in the apples and everything like that. We did try one area to try to get a full mating disruption for everyone, get it subsidised by the government, but unfortunately it didn't end up working. But the thing was, if one person did it and then your neighbours didn't do it or didn't do anything to, if they just let their orchard go, you can't do organic farming. But growers where I've seen just by themselves and got no one within about 10k of each other, 10k, it's like going, you can pretty much do a lot more organic side.
Okay. Is that because basically if you have a massive area that is just for apples, you get one bug in and it spreads.
It does, yeah.
Spreads, and
Yeah.
your neighbour may not be treating it as seriously as you are, and it comes back the next year.
Yeah.
So you've got kind of your own little island.
Yeah.
And you've got more control, and what comes in it. Okay, makes sense.
And that's all the biosecurity side of thing. But one thing I want to go back to is just going with those organic inputs and those type of things. Going, you say whether it's one or the other. It doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other. The amount both are used. So a lot of organic products or certified organic products are using conventional orchards, using conventional orchards and the likes like that, because it's like they can be used and they do have a space, and there's a lot more being developed. So that's an interesting side of things. So what you see in your Bunnings shelf at that is nothing what is available or what is going to be available in the next probably 10 to 20 years going forward.
So people are using organic and synthetic together.
Yep.
They both work,
Yep.
but maybe they're not using, because they're using some synthetic, they can't classify it as organic.
They can't, yeah.
So here's the question for you. If you're going to an apple shop or you're going to your Coles, are you buying organic or are you just buying what's there?
I'm buying what's there. Number one, the easiest thing is go direct to the farmer, go direct to the orchard or a farmer's market. The quality actually will be better, because one of the things is like going, you see in the supermarkets, they've got to transport it from the orchard to the distribution centre out to all the different branches. When it comes straight from the farmer, it's very different. And I'll tell you what, the seconds that I have, and when I say seconds, they might have a blemish on it, tastes tastes a lot better than what you can find.
No, yes.
Because it's
so
fresh.
It comes back to the song.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't. So my father-in-law, I just came from Esperance, right? So he's got a little orchard, and there's apples right now, and there's blemishes on the apples, right? You bite the apple, you don't even know.
No.
And it's a strange thing that we've set ourselves up for, to have an expectation of like, oh, we're going to have, perfect food. That's like an artwork.
Yeah.
And at what expense are we doing that? And a literal expense, But then also, the chemicals, the applications, the food waste, and
and you got to look at it from the chemical point of view. It is very, very highly regulated. So everything that goes on, it's not just going, we do a trial to make sure it works and then it's registered. No, there is multiple years of multiple studies locally and abroad in terms of measuring the residues, and you have to do the residue levels of what is actually sprayed on there. And there is a maximum residue that can be allowed on that fruit, and sometimes that is zero. And the way it is in some industries where we're geared towards export, cherries is a good one, there's a lot of zero of nothing you can have. So when they go test the fruit before it's exported, they can't find any traces of any chemicals out there, and then they can export.
How do they find the traces?
They pretty much, lab testing. So they take
wipe it?
No, they take the fruit and and test it.
Yeah, I told you before this, and viewers will remember, we had Vasily on, and Vasily told a story of how he was doing a video at someone's property, and they were talking about how organic the apples were and blah, blah, and he was about to bite into an apple, and, I don't eat that.
Yep.
You just pull it off the tree. Oh, we just sprayed it with this. And it paints this picture of deception that's going on, at least. I mean, what people will do, rightly or wrongly, is they will go, they'll hear a bad story of a bad actor.
Yeah.
Happens in every industry, and they go, everyone's like that.
Yeah.
Everybody who is involved in that industry does something like that. Everybody who's misleading. So there's some farmer who does this. It's the same with the auto industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? How do you experience those kinds of, it's an honest question asking it, but like people coming to you and just completely applying things wrong, completely ignoring the label.
Yep.
What the heck are you even doing with that product that was stopped 10 years ago?
That's more worrisome than what farmers are doing. Because one thing with that organic one going, there is still withholding periods on products, even on organic products. So if you're putting something on, we talk about what withholding periods in turf. It's actually not in lawns and turf. It's re-entry period. So usually say when something's dry. In orchards, it's withholding period of something spray. So something might be organic and you spray, you've got a 1 day withholding period. So that means 1 day before you can pick it and eat it. So it could have been that it's like that has a withholding period for that amount of time. But it's just not dangerous, but that's what the regulations are. So do not spray it and eat it. Other things that's like going, I know sometimes the fruit is dipped before it's packaged up and everything like that.
So what do they dip it in usually?
Usually there's all different types of chemicals depending on what it is. It's usually some fungicide. For apples they do it for storage, for cold storage and that. They dip it, actually we've got fogging technology. We fog some fungicide in to stop the rots. Usually a blue mold, green mold type thing. Otherwise, yeah, that'll just wipe out the crop completely, and the likes. But also, like strawberries get sprayed for botrytis before usually harvest, because you see strawberries do not last, and it's all about the storage and everything like that. Yeah, that's why I buy direct from the farmer. It's a lot better. But
so is this something? So because a lot of people are going to listen to this, and I mean they already know a lot of this stuff, right? But they're listening to this going, I just don't like the sound of that. But is that happening if you're buying straight from the farmer?
That it's like they'll have product, and it's probably it's possibly been sprayed a couple of days before. Don't know. It all depends on everyone's different. Depends on the pressure as well. If where they're growing, they don't have a huge amount of pressure, they're not going to spray. That's the thing. It's like good example is some stone fruit growers that I know. They go, no, it's been a dry year. We're not going to spray our fruit before we sell it. There's no point. And it's true. There's no pressure. There's no pressure for it. The disease pressure's not there. So they're not necessarily just going for the sake of it. But sometimes, like when the disease pressure has been quite wet, they're going to need to put in a few more inputs.
Yeah. So what about, we talk about with weeds, because now we're getting to food and fungicides and things like that. With weeds, I can see a future, say in a canola field, where, there is a robot that is doing some kind of manual technique, which is completely removing the ability for, resistance to build up. So like I've seen the ones, I think they've got like kind of like a small whippersnipper blade on the end of them, and they just cut them off. And you do that enough times when they're young, and that's them done. And
if they die, great, because the thing is, rather than take nutrients out of the soil for the crop.
Exactly. So I can see a future, I don't know if that's 10, 20, 50 years, where you go, okay, you can ease out of some sort of chemical in that application, but what about fungicides?
Fungicides, what it will happen there is that we are developing more safer biological controls. There are biological controls already out there, and the key is they have to be just as good as a synthetic product. And there is a couple out there at the moment. There's one called in apples, Serenade Prime, which is the bacillus, and bacillus has been used for ages, for eons, but there are different strains. Like when it comes to bacillus, there are different strains that do different things and are good on some things, not good on others. So that's one thing, but there are different types of products getting developed that are biological that will control these diseases. So that's what we're going to see more of. We are going to see, other chemicals, or the chemicals that are going to come out are going to be so much lower rate than where it used to be. Say, they go in a 3, 4, 5 litres a hectare in an orchard, becomes 100 mil a hectare.
Oh, wow.
So a lot less. And we're seeing that in some of the turf products, like some of the old ones, you're spraying like 20, 30 litres a hectare. Now you do half a litre a hectare and get the result.
Yep. So, I mean, is that just because it's super concentrated? So
no, it's just the actual chemical is a lot safe. Its toxicology, environmental profile is a lot better, but it's also a lot more effective at those ultra low rates. That's the other thing, and that's the science side. We're well above my pay grade, where the science is getting involved, and the scientists are developing the chemistry that way. To go, this is what we need. It's like sort of with the different strains of with cooches. You see it. It's like you got Tiff Tuff, Tahoma, Iron Cutter, and all of those. They're well advanced of what we used to have.
100%.
And what they can do. And same thing is happening with the with the chemical side as well. Going, how can we make this better? How can we do this better? There's a product that's I guess we were talking before offline about copper and the likes like that. There's restrictions on copper in Europe. So what some of the manufacturers in university have done, been able to develop a copper product that you don't actually need as much copper to get the same result. So we've got a liquid copper that does that. It uses, it uses about 1/10 of the amount of copper to get the same result.
Well, I'll just pause you on that, because copper, it's got restrictions. That is an organic product. So that would classify, I think you said it before, that even on the air, because we were talking about off air and on air, but you were saying before there's limitations on how much you can use, but that would classify. But this gets back to the point of that just because it classifies as organic doesn't mean it's safe. And I told you that I'd heard news stories, you were mentioning they're probably in America, about how people had really destroyed the biology in the soil because it just had too much copper. And probably overuse over the years. So not so much in using it across the wrong way, but just over the years there's been way too much copper in there. Build up a copper that way. So where it's like going, okay, this is where we still want to use copper because it's such a great fungicide and can use for organic inputs. It's like going, well, can you use something else that's not going to use as much and still get the same result? talking about all this, so there'll be some people here who are fascinated in the conversation, and their gut, their conscience is, I just don't want to deal with chemicals.
Yep.
One thing that crosses my mind, though, is that there's a big difference between, say, a strawberry and a banana or an orange with an actual skin that you peel off.
Yep.
Now, my assumption would be that you're not going to get the same, what's the word I'm looking for? The ability to penetrate the outer casing, the skin.
Yeah, that's it, the skin, and when it comes to citrus and bananas, they're all tested. That's the thing. So everything that's used is tested. We actually do residue testing for citrus growers and apple growers that use our products. We actually test residues.
So is it even a hypothetical thing where, so you're comfortable eating the food, right? Most people are comfortable eating the food. There's some people out there that go, oh, I don't know. And now, Luke, you've made it more awkward for me because I used to buy organic and now I'm not even sure about that and all that sort of stuff. Would it be, all I'm just trying to get at, would you evaluate, even though you wouldn't say that from your own perspective, that it's unsafe to have a strawberry, would it still be just almost impossible to get through an orange skin with an application?
Yeah, pretty much, There's nothing that can, in terms of penetrating. Like a lot of the chemical will go on the skin, and the disorder comes on the skin. That's the thing, it's not from the orange itself inside. So the skin, the disorder comes in, and then you get the blue-green mold, and if you ever have a rotten orange, it's actually quite attractive for a for a disease, but it just rots from the outside, then goes inside.
I've seen also these videos online, not in Australia, in other countries, where they've dusted there's certain fruit that are covered in like a white dust.
Not sure what that is, but there is sort of some dust products that go on.
It was a weird fruit, I didn't know. And it must have been South America or something like that. And I remember this guy just got it and he just took a bite out of it. He was one of the pickers or something, and I was like, what the heck is that thing on there? And
I'm not sure. They have like sometimes, like I know fruits different. I know potatoes have been treated with mancozeb as a dust for storage and everything like that. I don't know if it's that. I'm not quite sure. Unless it's some calcium. Calcium's, it's actually beneficial for the fruit to harden up the skin and being resistant to everything and for shelf life and the likes. And so put that on it. I'm not sure.
Let's talk about this won't be controversial at all, right? Have you heard about glyphosate? I know it's brand new.
I know. I've heard about this product. I know a product called Roundup.
Yeah.
Wipeout.
There's a better one called Zero.
Zero. Yes, Zero. That's the other one.
Yeah. Completely different.
Yeah.
Let's tell the clients, I don't want Roundup. No, don't worry. We use Zero.
Yeah.
There's a court case going on right now. Have you been keeping up to date with it?
Not as much. I can't say I have been. It's like, because it's not in. We've never dealt with glyphosate in our portfolio or anything like that. Like, sort of know what's going on, but not really sort of look at it.
Yeah. Do you worry about? Because one of the things I worry about, I was reading this thing, and the 2 podcasts ago we talked about it with somebody who was on, Gary from Aussie Lawn Stars. The thing is, I was reading an article, and one of the things that I can't even remember what they call them. I'm not one of those lawn nerds, but the person who's presenting the case, I think it's 800 people as part of a class action.
Class action,
And one of the people in that 800 said that they had their clothes soaked with it from memory, and people go back and listen to the other one, but it was like when they were young, they were spraying with their dad, the equipment leaked, their clothes got soaked with it, and now they believe they got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from that episode.
That incident,
One of the things that I am very I get a little bit frustrated by is I don't understand why that is, and I don't know law at all. I don't know why that's a legitimate claim.
Yeah.
Because it kind of feels to me like I didn't wear my seatbelt, I crashed the car, and now I'm going to sue Toyota.
Yep.
And it would be very different if I wore the seatbelt and it failed.
Yep.
I wore the PPE, I did everything you said, I applied it as per the label, as per the guidelines, and now I still feel like, and then I'm like, okay, I'll hear your case out. But when we had, Professor...
I remember the podcast you did,
Jim Prattley, on the podcast from South Australia, I believe he is. Well, he talked about the case in America where there was a guy named, I believe his name was Michael Jordan, not the actual Michael Jordan.
No.
It was either Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson. So he shared a famous name, but he had a terrible case of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. you know, and obviously everybody's very sad about that, and I don't want to bring him into his issues into it, but the claim that Jim Prattley was saying was that the application rate of the product was so high it would have killed everything at the place he was working at. That was the claim, and it creates this suspicion almost with like, why are these claims being brought where it's clear that the label hasn't been followed?
Yep.
Do you worry that there's going to be some level of some act of carelessness like that ruins it for everybody? So you have a product that is, when used correctly, is safe.
Yep.
Somebody does something stupid, 2 or 3, 4, 5 people do it, and then a couple of lawsuits later and we go, oh, we can't use this chemical.
Yep.
That was used and done safely.
That's what I do worry about, because on the labels, like as you said, like, you know, before someone or their whole clothes were drenched in it, going, well, number one, they should have been wearing the appropriate PPE, and then you throw it out of the way. And usually, you know, and with chemicals and the like, it's not that one exposure that the cancer will come. If by chance that any chemical, that whatever chemical, even chemicals in the past have, exposed, like asbestos. It's not like only any asbestos poisoning for just one exposure. It's a lot of, it can be, well, for that one it can be, but other chemicals more the exposure over time and getting fully, in contact with it. But if you're wearing the right PPE and taking the precautions that are on the label, getting the the carelessness is the big worry. It is a really big worry about that. That's why I worry about the industry when sometimes I see with the lawn side of things, people doing things, I'll just put a little bit more in. No, don't put a little bit more in. There's a reason you don't put a little bit more in. Yep. We test it. We do double rate, 4 times rate. We do test that, but you've got it, You've got to follow the label. Oh, it didn't kill it as much. If we put a bit more in, it kills it. It's like going, do a follow-up application. That's going to be your safer option rather than let's go,
Yep. I've also heard, just on a completely different note though, that there's only so much herbicide that a plant can actually take up anyway.
Because
there's a point where you feel like you're making it more effective, but you might, like, I know a lot of people, not on a personal level, I just know it happens, that they will literally just pour glyphosate straight into the tank and then just fill it up.
Yep.
And you only need, like, if you get like one of the super concentrated versions.
Yeah, you need like 3 ml per litre or something, that's it.
Yeah, and I think the one that we use is 6 mils per litre, so a 15 litre sprayer is 96. Yeah. So just under 100 mil, there's 16 litres.
Yep.
And how small is that?
Yeah.
1/10 of a standard twin chamber bottle. Yeah. Sorted. And someone was just pouring half of it.
That's exactly, And the thing is, when we test products, we test, like, the aim is to get the lowest possible rate to get the best possible result. So you can sometimes get, and we've been rejected, and there has been rejections where, our Power Cure, when we had the permit, we could go up to 8 litres a hectare. But the rate now is, with the new formula, we'll go with the old formulation, maximum rate was 4 litres a hectare. Because we couldn't prove that, and rightly so, it's like the higher label rate didn't do anything better than the 4 litre rate.
So even though you're financially incentivized to put on a higher rate?
Well, no, we weren't. We were, the aim was to test going, we don't look at it that way, because we're masters of our own domain in terms of that. It's like going, what's the best label, the lowest label rate we can, or not what's the best label rate we can get to get the best possible result? Zone. Yeah. And get it, and the lower the rate, the better it is.
Well, I think there's a great suspicion, and there should be, because there's a lot of companies, cigarette companies, places like that, who fudge the data, paid off scientists. Sugar industry did it as well with diabetes and things like that. And so they look at the big international, the Bayers, the Monsantos, the all those.
And there are court cases, like going back in the years, you do look at a lot of it's in the US and everything like that. There has been cases where, like, a lot of products have killed a whole of fish, and it's like they try to put it, I think it was, if you look up sort of certain things, there has been certain things that happened, and there has been gone to court where, because I don't want to say anything from legal purposes, but there has been, it's like where...
We don't want to get sued.
No, but there has been cover-ups and the likes like that. But, we're going back to the 50s, 60s and 70s, it's like, these days, whether it ever happens again, I don't... I can't say it won't, but, a lot of the reputable companies just won't. They won't do it.
Well, that's, I'm kind of getting it, like, in the same way, like, for me, if I'm going to... today I was working on a quote for the school that we already work at, right? I want to change up the way that we do some things there in the contract. The contract's coming up again. And anyway, so I'm just looking at stuff, and I'm doing the maths, and I'm like, I know that we built trust with them, and I know I'm at a point where with them, if I say, for example, we 2 years ago we oversowed an internal part with ryegrass, cost thousands of dollars. We didn't do it last year because we started off really healthy and we thought we can make it last. Didn't last. Just got too much traffic, can't handle the traffic. So this year we're like, no, we got to do it, and we basically have to do it every year, and that's thousands of dollars every year they got to pay, and they just go, yeah, we believe you, we understand, we trust you, and I'm doing this contract, and I know that there is a 99.9% chance that they will re-sign a contract with us. We're all happy with each other, it's all good. I could go to them and chuck a little bit extra on here and a little bit extra on there, but I don't want to do that because the whole thing is it's built on trust. And a lot of small business owners listening to this will go, I know exactly what that feels like.
No, 100%.
It's exactly what I would do it as. And that's how you feel as well. Because you could say, oh, look, we know 4 litres a hectare is right, but if we put 5 litres a hectare on, that's 25% more. We will get 25% more sales just by manipulating that. But you're like, no, I wouldn't.
No. It's like when we do price rises. I hate increasing our prices. Number one, I've got to actually do some work to do that rather than come up and do like podcasts like this with Luke. But the thing is, I feel bad when I have to increase pricing because with things of going up, I'm sorry, this has gone up about $5 a hectare. And they're like, why? Don't worry about it. It's like going with our ProCure, the new formulation. We did have to put it up, but it was 3 years since it had gone up. But I didn't want it, but unfortunately we had to. And I feel bad for it. But because you are a small business and you know how people operate, especially like the owner operators that you deal with and the likes like that.
What's the hardest part about running a business like yours?
It's time and the resources, because you can only do so much. It's like, some of the multinationals and that going, okay, I'm going on a trip to WA, going, okay, here's your flights, I'll book it all for you. I've got to do it all. I've got some articles to write for some associations going, we don't have a marketing department, we have me. So it's just doing everything. But it's difficult, but that's the great part about it. That's the thing, you do have that more control over it. And it's that personal touch. That's what I love about the industry, it's that personal touch. So when people talk to me, it's like I'm passionate about it, but just people know that it's me, part owner, that you're talking to, and I have a vested interest in what I'm saying to you and trying to get you not to use just, yes, of course I want you to use my product, I'm never about that, but I want you to use the best solution and get it to work. Because in the end and I've had people call up and it's like when our Lono herbicide came out and that, we didn't have the spoons initially, but then we got them and a couple of people called up, hey, we've got the spoons now, I'll send one to you. You sure? So yeah, don't worry about it, I'll send it to you. And by the way, I'll put my card in there. If you need anything, just give me a call back. And I've had a couple of people call up, go, oh, sorry to disturb you. Don't worry, you invested in the product. You were good enough to buy that product. Least I can do is offer you 5-10 minutes of my time.
Well, you talked about it last time as well, because the spoons, they're handy. So for those who don't know, Lonrose is a isosulfuryl sodium.
Yes.
I remember that one.
Yeah. That's
it's a good one to remember. But it's common for what's the word? Guildford grass.
Yep, Guildford grass, broadleaf weeds, winter grass, safe on all buffalo, cooch.
So
that's a great thing.
We use it quite a bit, and it's a Schedule 5.
Yes.
So, anyways, I'm pumping up your tyres right
thank
now.
you.
But the thing that is very frustrating about
and available through the lawn shed.
There you go. Yes. Get a kickback from that too. Now, the thing about it though is it's so light and so little used that if you're using it residential, you might only need half a gram. And normal kitchen scales don't go that specific. In fact, I would, even though they go between a gram, I put it on, it's been 1 gram, I walk away and I come back and it says 2 grams. I'm like, what is it? And it must be, it's like 1.49 or something. And it's
guesstimate.
So it's not, I mean, if you're trying to get 70 grams, the difference between 70 and 71, who cares, right? But small lawn applications, it's so that the spoon, which is a 1 gram spoon, you're much better off going, I need half a gram, that's half the spoon.
That's it.
Or it's 42% of the spoon, well, fine. It's not, but the expense to buy an actual proper, they go up a lot of money to get something that goes more than 1 gram or more precise than 1 gram. And to be honest, the only people buying them are drug dealers anyway.
That would be true. So you need that 0.1 of a gram.
Exactly.
That's a great thing about the spoon. I say to people going, look, if you want to go for Guildford Grass onion weed control, just look at that, just under half the spoon. If you're going for general broadleaf weeds and you want to get the onion weed, just go for a spoon. And then if you need a bit of power, control as well, just go that 1.5, but in about 5 litres of water.
Yep.
Don't forget the surfactant too. That's very important.
Yeah. Can you get granule surfactants? Doesn't work that way, does it?
No, I don't. Never seen it. No, I've never seen a formulation of granule surfactant.
Let me put you a different question.
There is, yeah.
Because surfactant, okay, this is...
Okay, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to answer this, but okay.
Surfactant is basically the same group of chemicals as wetting agents, detergents, things like that.
They're all like, that's the thing. It's like when you talk about that chemistry, it's all surfactant technology.
So people just go, can I just put dishwashing liquid in it?
Yeah. All else fails and that's what you got, do it. But the dishwashing detergent will just burn everything.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But if it's the only thing that you've got, yeah, do it. But realistically, invest.
Yeah, I think they're really not expensive.
Yeah, no, they're not expensive. And you buy one bottle and they don't go off. Like I've never seen a surfactant.
I bought a 20-litre bottle. It's in the warehouse because I think the rate is 1 mil per litre.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different. Some, it depends on what
it's
it is.
Something like that,
yeah,
right?
it's not much.
And so for me to spray, say Lonro across a hectare, right, which is the school is 1.7 hectares.
Yes,
that's the biggest job we have. From memory, was it 400 litres?
Yep.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
So 400 mil.
Yep.
Right. I have you do it once a year.
Yep.
That 20 litre. The rest of the small resi jobs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's going to last.
Every herbicide you do.
I'll give it to my children as part of their inheritance. That's how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Anyway, so people just do it. But yeah. So I guess I feel, because I'm not trying to convince anybody either way.
Yeah.
I just like having the conversation because I know that there are some people, and this is one of the things that COVID really instilled in me the whole season was I've been very much very relaxed. If you disagree with me, I don't care, whatever. And a lot of people got very heated over COVID. I've got opinions on COVID, but I didn't really get that heated with family members and things like that. But one of the things about that and the vaccines and that, because it all kind of relates about like chemicals and what goes in your body and all that sort of stuff, is I think someone's conscience has a lot of value. And even if somebody is wrong, if their conscience is, I don't want to do that, or I do want to do that, you start arguing with them and it really fractures relationships. And I don't think there's much wisdom in just trying to force this opinion down someone's throat. And I think that's the problem with some of these conversations sometimes is the more environmentally, what's the word we would use? Cautious, maybe. People would be like, I, in my conscience, really don't want to use chemicals on my lawn. I really don't want to spray them around my dog and my kids. Or I don't want to eat food that's been sprayed with it. And I'm not going to come here and go, oh, you're an idiot. Look at the LD50 on this or that, whatever. If someone's like, I sprayed it carelessly and then I'm going to go sue somebody, mate, you're an idiot. Okay, I'll say that's stupid.
But if you don't want to spray because you believe, it's
actually,
harmful.
I'll just clarify that. If somebody didn't follow the label and then they sprayed it carefully, if they were completely unaware because they were a child or whatever, I mean, I'm nothing against it. If somebody carelessly, I don't follow the label and then I'm going to go sue. It's like, well, okay, put your bloody seatbelt on, don't sue Toyota. But that's that thing I'm coming from, because I feel like what happens is the more environmentally conscious person will go to the farmer. You see this with vegans and cattle farmers or whatever. They just go, how dare you do this, you're evil. And then they go back and go, I'm making a living and this is what people have done for generations and who do you think you are, young whippersnapper? And that was not productive at all, But if someone's a vegan, go, my conscience says I don't want to eat meat.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I've got a mate of mine who loves into electric cars and everything, and talks about a lot of cycling and everything like that. It's like going, I love my petrol V8 engine and everything like that. And there's a nice little meme on that I've seen. It's like going, what was it? It's like I put it on my Facebook page the other day in regards to the Happy Father's Day to the Mustang E. The EV versus the old one, and the old one says, "You're not my son."
Yes, no, I agree with that.
Yes, and then
it's not because it's electric either. It's because it's not high performance. I mean, we're getting into cars again, right?
Yes, we had to bring in the cars.
Nadeem and I are in an F1 group chat, and it's the bloody. So the original Mustang is like this beautiful, iconic car. It happens. It's also V8 and everything. If they made a beautiful, iconic sports car that had a great performance and was electric, I would be like, okay,
Yep.
No, I don't,
And
but they made a bloody SUV which looks like a mum's soccer car.
Yeah.
And the performance is like that of a Mazda 3.
Yeah.
And like, this is the new Mustang. It's like, you can shut up.
No, that's it, yeah.
We do not acknowledge you as part of the family.
That's it. But I've got my mate who's like that. But it's like, we have a differing opinion, but we're still good mates. And in the end, it's like going, that's what matters.
No, I think that's crossed the line. Liking the new Mustang.
But funny thing was, he used to drive like like he used to have the Subaru Liberty B4, the twin turbo one. He used to have all that. He had the
turbos are environmentally friendly though.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
better fuel efficiency.
Yeah, that's true. The old twin turbos, yes.
That's what they say. But they also make you put your foot down more, so all your fuel efficiency is lost.
That's it. So yeah, but it's just one of those things. You do have those differing opinions, and we need that.
Yeah.
We need different opinions. Otherwise, we don't grow. You don't grow yourself. If everyone around you agrees with the same thing, it's like going. No one grows. No one learns. It's like you need people with different opinions, and you just listen to it. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But the other side is like going. You expand your knowledge. It's like one of those things you hear about Prime Minister that don't surround yourself with yes people.
Well, that's something about podcasts that I've said so many times. I love this side of it because how much does this cost us to do? We went to Centuria's and got a coffee.
2 coffees.
I had to buy the microphones.
Yes.
They were almost $600, people.
This is a very, very expensive podcast right here.
Exactly. So no, this spread out hopefully across.
I haven't given you my bill yet either, so yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly. And Nadeem's rate, we'll be in trouble. I don't have the same money as Bayer, right?
yeah.
But no, what I'm getting at.
That's all right. Just buy one lawnmower. It's all good.
Yeah, people.
When you need it, not because I said so.
I need it to cover the cost of the microphones. I need people to buy about 15 lawn rows, right? And both of us will get supported in that. I don't actually, but don't take that seriously. I don't know how many lawn rows you have to buy. What was I saying? It's simple to do, right? You happen to be in the state. Yeah. Let's go have a chat. And I'm learning a lot. People are learning a lot.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I hope that. What I love about this format is it's not expensive in terms of we don't need a production crew. There's a tripod, my phone.
Got a great background.
Yeah, the children walking past. Yeah. I was ignoring them. I think I'm going to have to blur their faces out. I didn't want to do any editing work on this. Bloody idiots. No, but like it's a simple thing. And then you go, okay, well maybe somebody changes their mind a little bit. Maybe somebody listens to this and go, no, I can almost guarantee you, there'll be a bunch of people here who I'm growing my own food exclusively now, and go for it. 'Cause I like doing that too. Yeah. And, then you can if that's what you feel like, but the message I'm getting from this is there isn't really an option other than some form of chemical. Yep. Maybe organic isn't, as...
At this point in time, no. Like to do what we're doing on a world scale, at this point in time, no. We can't do it to feed everyone. But, one of the things are the advancements we've made with a lot of things, not just with chemicals, but the way we grow things, all the cultural side of things, all the machinery and all that. It's like, you used to get 3-4 tonne a hectare worth of apples. Now you're getting 60,000 tonnes worth of, 5,000 tonne to 60,000 tonnes a hectare. So it's that. We're doing more with a lot less and learning more. And we will get there with that organic side. And that non-chemical side, and who knows what we're going to be when we're like 80, 90 years old sitting here. Are we going to probably do another podcast then? We're going to keep on going on about a podcast? That'll be the 1,000th episode?
Yeah, episode 6,412. And Nadeem's back on for the 75th time. And
I'm just beaming in from Mars. Hold on.
Me and you are Futurama where they got the heads cut off. That's just us talking.
Yep, that's right, yeah.
And we've only just paid off the microphone.
Yeah, that's exactly, yes.
I did my 100th episode. That was the one that we just recorded. So this won't be the next one that's out. We've got an Anzac Day one coming out.
Oh, nice.
But I was going to do because I did it for 6 months. I was like, how much have I actually earned from the podcast?
Yep.
And I was doing the maths roughly in my head because it took me too long. And anyway, I didn't have the time. I was like, this is not as lucrative as I'd like it to be. So people jump on the lawn shed.
Yes, try and jump on the launch shed, and yeah, they're good guys.
Or the Patreon.
I deal with the launch shed. I deal with Ian there. Actually, caught up with him a couple of weeks ago. We sat down and had a coffee. It's like, yeah, he's a really good guy, and I've known him for a long time. Very smart as well. I don't know many people how smart he actually is. You know, he's done his master's degree in turf management and the like, so he's got some decent qualifications behind him.
Yeah, he's helping you choose your fertiliser for your 30 square metre client's front lawn.
He goes above and beyond.
But it's also like it's overpowered, isn't it?
Yeah, he does go above and beyond. I'll give him that and everything like that, yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you wish that people knew about what it's like being in your shoes from an environmental perspective?
Yeah, the thing is we care for the environment. It's like going, you know, this is our world. We want it. I want it for my kids. I want it for their kids, my future grandkids. I think I'm going to have grandkids because my daughter, she's only 6, wants kids. But
I was going to but I thought you were about to say.
Oh no, I'm not going to be grateful for that. No,
she's pregnant.
No, definitely not.
Nadeem,
no. then I've got some secrets there in the closet that I don't know about.
I was just like, no, like yeah. Maybe when she's 26.
No, we want to care for the environment and everything, and it's always been like we called Colin Campbell Chemicals, but we're one of the first with biological controls and horticulture and that, and we are looking for that side. So we know that's the future, but it just has to be sustainable in terms of that it has to perform as well as a synthetic product that there is at the moment, and it will come. And there's already stuff there. We've got a great there's a couple of things. We've got nematodes that control codling moth overwintering codling moth in apple orchards that people can use. That's fully biological, doesn't hurt it. We've got a granulosis virus for codling moth control as well. It's a virus that does not hurt anything but the codling moth. You know, you get in contact with it, doesn't hurt you at all. There's a lot more technology going there, and we want to be
mucking around with viruses hasn't caused any issues at all.
No, these are viruses for getting rid of insect pests and all of those. So very different to what we have dealt with, 3-4 years ago.
What are you talking about? If I click monetize on the YouTube video, right, they go, have you said anything controversial or anything like this? You just click no every single time. But at some point, I'm going to click no, and they're going to come back and go, you said something controversial. Yeah?
So it's virus as in granulosis virus. If you ever look it up, you can look at our website and have a look at it there.
Don't say the C word.
No.
The $7 I was going to make off this video.
We didn't say it.
No,
no, good.
Yeah. I'll be another 10 years before I pay off these microphones. It's one of those things, isn't it, where there's, I guess, the controversy of that season, I think, has also heightened people's suspicion.
Yep.
To big businesses and all that sort of stuff. I totally understand it.
Yep.
Well, mate, been a great walk.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it has been. Yeah, it's been good. Got some exercise in, which was good, because considering coming from Sydney to Perth, it's 5.5 hour flight.
Yeah,
5.5 hours.
Got in yesterday, right?
Yeah, got in late last night. So yeah, ended up watching the Grand Prix. I was going to mention that.
I missed it.
You missed it.
I bloody watched the highlights.
I watched a little bit at the Sydney airport, and then I watched the rest of it when I got to my hotel. So I got to sleep quite late last night, but it was worth it.
So I've got Starlink. Do you know what Starlink is?
Yeah.
I can strap it to the back of my ute.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
nice.
It works when you drive.
Yep.
And especially if you've got a long straight.
Yeah.
And I will confess that I put it on for about a minute, and my intention was just to listen to it.
Yep.
And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm just naturally keep looking at it. So after a literal minute, I turned it off. I can't play KO with my screen off.
Yeah. Yes.
I was like, this is too distracting.
Yeah.
So anyway, I missed the F1.
No. I've used the app to listen to the radio. I was on the way from Paris to London. We went on the train. We went on the train system, and it's like they had free Wi-Fi and stuff. So I was actually listening to the BBC coverage on the radio for one of the races.
Is that the same commentators? 'Cause I find
no, it's a BBC 5 Live commentators.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube.
Yep.
The free replay.
Yep.
The commentators, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're not the commentators I like, and it makes a difference to the experience.
Yeah.
On F1, I don't care about AFL. I don't care about cricket commentators, but something about F1.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's done. So we're digressing way too far. We'll talk about that while everyone gets to go up and have their dinner or a cup of coffee or whatever they're up to.
Well, thanks for coming on.
No, thank you very much, Luke. Pleasure.
Second in-person one. Yep. Very casual walk around a park.
First in person, first time meeting each other. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about anything controversial. We didn't cover anything that might upset people.
Except probably the F1 stuff. We went probably
Exactly.
too much about. That's okay.
Everything else.
Yeah.
We won't get any hate comments. Everyone's going to love this.
It's all good. And it's like going, look, any questions or anything like that, guys, you can always reach out to us, have a chat to us, have a chat to Luke.
Don't reach out to me. Don't send me questions about chemicals. I'm just the conduit this comes through.
That's it. If I can help you, I will. If I can't, I'll put you in the right direction. Because I don't know all the answers.
No, it's good. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for talking about something that a lot of people wouldn't want to talk about if they were in your position.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Everybody else, I will see you in the next podcast.